we work with a variety of different industries and organisations, and so there's a lot of diversity already in the client groups that we work with, and so it's important for us to be able to offer diversity of our coaches and our leadership coaches. So we are conscious of making sure that we've got diversity in the range of like age, gender, and life experiences, culture diversity. We're conscious of it, doesn't mean we necessarily do it well. And so that's something that's always on our radar, is how do we actually, improve those areas. Yeah, I think it's been a conscious kind of awareness. So like many helping industries, I'd say that probably 80% of people from the helping industries, from psychology, I know certainly going back into my own psychology days, 90% of our cohort were females. And so attracting males into this kind of environment can be sometimes quite challenging. So I guess for us it's a conscious awareness that we are always talking about as a team. How can we attract more males to the organisation? A lot tend to be lone rangers, so tend to be very, very skilled in what they do, but tend to operate on their own. Again, we're talking about it regularly at team meetings. So I think a big thing is broadening our networks. So we have 10 staff here at Veraison, and so a lot of us are connected in other areas and different areas of life, and so we're really conscious of having discussions around how we can get diversity in our organisation. So we put that at the top of one of our agenda items, I suppose, in the monthly meetings around how can we attract the right people. So expanding our networks, joining CGE, joining other peak body groups, and also just people who are also advisors out in the same field as us, and having conversations about, who's out there, what skills are we after, what are you doing, and just having more conversations about that. And in doing that, that's actually helped us have greater connections with greater diverse populations as well. Another thing that we've done is, I suppose, we've been more conscious around having diversity amongst our board. So I don't know if that's just happened organically, but it's also, once we've kind of been more consciously aware of having diversity, it's something that we've maintained. And so we've just recently had a board member step down, who's a male, and now we're looking at, is there opportunities to actually look into our network and see if there's other females that potentially are the right fit for our board. But we're conscious of making sure we've got the gender and the skill balance as well. We've had conversations around how to actually, can we actually put it out there and say we want males? And we've gone down the track once of actually going down and doing paid recruitment to see if we could attract more people from certain skill sets, but I think there was an unconscious bias on our end about, okay, let's see if we can get some more males. And we did go down that track, and it didn't work. I think the unconscious bias was, again, how can we get some more males in the organisation? So we went out to a recruiter. We were kind of saying we're really keen to attract more males into the industry. We looked at the wages that we were putting out there. We probably, because we're more focused on getting a male, we maybe put the skill set down a little bit lower, if that makes sense. And so this is that challenge or that battle between, are we attracting the right people rather than just focusing on gender, and that's the kind of debate that we often have. So being more conscious of diversity, having the conversations at CG forums has been fantastic, because it's not just for our own organisation, but it's for the organisations that we work with. So I noticed that our conversation with our clients has been focus has been on diversity within their workplaces. So as we go into organisations and we understand what the culture is, what the leadership's like, what the challenges are, then we're conscious of saying, okay, what's the gender equity balance? What are some of the systems and the processes that are working or a hindrance to this organisation? And so it helps us to have conversations around it with our client groups. And we work a lot with female-dominated environments such as healthcare, aged care, and they've got similar struggles of really trying to attract males into their environment. And in saying that, we also focus on with the female-dominated organisations, they might have, again, a great balance or a great population of female workers, but they're not necessarily feeling included. We've also got working with quite a range of culturally diverse organisations, and so we're conscious of making sure that organisations are thinking about that level of diversity and what supports people need. Yeah, I think for me personally, I think because I grew up in that era of, I was 20 something years ago of going through uni, most people were females in my course. And what was fascinating when I was 20 something years ago was even though majority of females went through the course, there were still more male psychologists. And I found that really fascinating, and obviously, as you know, there's multiple reasons why women leave the workforce and so forth. So the biggest learning for me, I guess, is recognising that diversity, gender diversity is critical for high performance. And so keeping on track of that and not just saying, oh, well, it's just our industry. We're never going to attract males into our industry, or they're always going to be lone workers. It doesn't have to be that way. So just having more conversations about what people's needs are, what they can offer, not just about gender, but in terms of their skill set as well. So I think also working with like-minded people and working with really big organisations and understanding what they do to attract diversity in their workplace. And so it's really awesome to see that there's so many people taking such a focus on that. Well, yeah, it's very, very promising. When we work together for a while, we start to think the same way. So being able to have that recognition that actually, we don't have much diversity in this team. We're high performing, but it's actually capped to a certain level because we don't have different cultural experiences or life experiences or views or, based on our gender or culture or age or whatever it might be. So just sparking more of those conversations within our organisations that we work with has been really powerful. And I'm finding a lot more organisations have gender and diversity as a topic of like a high priority in their organisations, which is awesome to see. That certainly wasn't a discussion or anything, even 5-10 years ago in my experience. Even if you feel like your organisation is ticking all the boxes and meeting all the quotas, it doesn't mean that they're high-performing organisations. So there's a difference between having diversity and inclusivity. So I think marrying the two together is really critical. And so the conversations and the forums are particularly helpful for me, and also just the brainstorming and the ideas that whether you're a large organisation or you're a really small organisation has been really eye-opening for me. The other thing is I think personally as a small organisation of 10 staff, highly inclusive, it's like a family feel. We seem to have the similar kind of feel with our clients and our partners that we work with too. We're not great often at that policy development and having certain tools at our fingertips when it comes to diversity, gender equity, etc. And so it's been fantastic to have the toolkit from CGE to be able to just have some really quick reference points to kind of pull on. That's really helped us as a quick kind of resource grab as well.